everybody. Welcome into an interview with Davey Shepard and Ben Wright of Speedway Soccer. You might be listening to the Nashville Soccer Show tonight. We're going to share this there as well. We are very, very pleased to be joined tonight by Nashville SC's MVP candidate, Hany Mukhtar. Hany, thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Thank you. How are you?
Hey, we're doing good, man. We are, it's been, in our business, we get to cover you guys, and you guys have been very good this year. So that's always makes our job easier. So we appreciate you playing as well as you've played so far.
That's perfect. Sounds so good.
So, Hany, let's start with this. Just really, really broadly, I don't know that the fans have heard from you a ton. So kind of coming over into America, we got to know you last year, slow start to the season. You're building in, and obviously just one of the weirdest years on record for everybody last year. So kind of just getting into it, how'd you start playing soccer? I mean, it just a thing that every kid does in Germany. Who was maybe a favorite player that you had when you were young?
My favorite player was always Zinedine Zidane. Obviously, soccer is the biggest sport in Germany, and when I was very little, I started to play soccer, and all my friends, they did too. So it became very fast my passion.
So you've played for some pretty big clubs, Hertha, Benfica, Red Bull Salzburg, Brøndby. What was that experience like, being a young guy, going through those academies, going through those teams, and then you make a pretty big change for any human, but especially for an athlete, coming across the pond, moving to a state like Tennessee? Kind of just talk about that journey in soccer as a whole.
Yeah, I started in Hertha. I went through the academy there and became a professional. I got my first deal there, professional deal, and I made my debut when I was 17 years old. With 18, I made my debut in the first league with Hertha. So it was very good, and then I moved to Benfica. At that time, I think they had the most supporters in the world, or in Europe, and it was a big move. I didn't play much there, and I went on loan to Salzburg and Brøndby, and then Brøndby bought me, and I spent it there, I think, 3.5 years before I came to the US.
So, Hany, you're almost through your second regular season here with Nashville. Just what's that transition been like to MLS, and how do you feel like the league compares to what you had played in previously?
I mean, last year for everyone was a very difficult and special year because of COVID. But this year we have a kind of regular year with the season, and this year been pretty good. And I knew that it's a big move or a big step to go to the MLS, and I'm very surprised that I'm pretty surprised that the league is that strong, and we have so many good players. Every team is competing, and it's such a fun league to watch. Even my friends back home in Germany, they told me after a couple of games that, hey, this league is fun to watch. So many goals and very entertaining. And for me, obviously, it's a good league, and I think the league is much better than people think in Europe. And slowly but surely, they recognize how good this league is. And it would take some time, but for sure, this league getting better and better. And it's a very exciting league. And I think in the next years, we have a big future.
You talked a little bit about how many goals. 15 of those goals are yours this year, off to just an incredible pace this season. You talked about maybe some growing pains last year, hard year for everybody. Do you think those kind of experiences have helped you kind of take off in season 2 here in Nashville?
Definitely. I mean, I think for everyone was a difficult time. I don't want to complain because the whole world had difficulties. And I mean, we are blessed to keep working what we love to, and we have to appreciate that every day. And I think the pandemic has one good thing, that we appreciate the good things we have in life, and I think that made me even stronger, and to know that, hey, you need to work even harder for that what you love. And I think we are, as a team, as a club, on a good way, on a good way to succeed where we want to be.
So, Hany, just tell us a little bit about what it's been like playing for this Nashville team under Gary Smith. What's he like to work with, kind of every day?
I mean, I think as a player, I always said to myself, you can never learn enough. And when I arrived here, they showed me different stuff where I can improve my game, and that's what I love about here, about Nashville, that we can all improve, and if you're willing to improve, you will improve, and we have to work every day harder, and to achieve our goals and to be a better version of ourselves.
Do you think Gary maybe unfairly gets painted as a defensive coach, Hany? You hear that a lot online. It's kind of been a refrain since he came to Nashville. But, I mean, you're having, if I'm correct, maybe one of your best offensive seasons ever. Do you think that's an unfair characterization?
I mean, obviously we are not pressing all teams high, especially when we are on the road. And I get it that people are saying that. But, I mean, you are playing to win. That's why we are on the field, and I think he's very winning orientated and to get points, and that's what's all about in the end. It's not about play pretty football and keep the ball 90% possession. It's in the end that you are scoring more goals than your opponent, and I think we are pretty successful this year, and of course. That's what he teaches us every day, that we have to be very win orientated and play that kind of football sometimes.
Hany, we saw earlier in the season kind of a switch from a back four system to more of a back three, and it feels like you kind of have more freedom in this back three system. Do you think that's a fair characterization, and how have you enjoyed playing in this new system?
I mean, we took one offensive player out and put one more center back in. But for me, it's of course you have a little bit more freedom because you have more player behind you, and even if you lose the ball, you have still 7-6 players behind you, and they can still win the ball for you back, and then you're in a good position. But our DNA is that everyone has to work and everyone has to do the dirty job, and that's what is special about this team, that no one is saying, no, I don't want to run, I don't want to defend, and we are all in the same boat, and that's what makes us so strong.
I mean, how's it been playing with a guy like CJ Saeng? Obviously a guy a little bit later in his career. What makes him so good this late in his career, and do you think he's improved you as a player this season?
First of all, CJ is a great guy and a good character and such a good person. And on the field, he's amazing. What I love about him, he's always positive. He's never complaining, and he's always willing to do the work for you. And that's something you cannot learn. You have it or you don't have it. And especially for offensive player like me and Randall, we love to have someone next to us who likes to work, and he don't care if he has to make one more run for us, or like to make the run that we are open, and that's something what we really appreciate about him. And he's very unselfish for a striker, and helps us a lot with his experience. He has a lot of experience in the league, and he's trying to help us as much as possible. And I think we build a good duo.
Hany, we heard a lot from both Gary and Mike Jacobs in the offseason just about how important it is to have competition for places in the squad. And I guess you kind of saw that when Ake came in this summer. You kind of saw a lot of output from other guys like CJ pretty soon after he came in. Do you feel like that competition in training every week to just get on the field has helped improve your attack this year?
Yeah, in my opinion, competition is always good, especially in our sport. And in our position, that's what makes you even work even harder every day. And that's key. That's the key to success, in my opinion. That we have a good competition, that we have a good squad. Because in the end, you cannot win long way or a long run of games with 11 players. You need 14, 15, 16, and maybe even the 18th guy. He will be so important in the end if he scores the decisive goal or he blocked the shot for a winning game. So you never know, and that's what is very important. We saw it last year with Rios, how important he was against Toronto. He scored a goal, and you need always more players than just 11, and that's what it's about in the end.
Obviously, a great season so far, Hany. Really, really good team. Still second place on the table, up for grabs for Nashville SC. Let's go back to the end of last year, though. Lose to Columbus away. It seemed like a pretty bitter end to the season for you all, and really like it's motivated you throughout this year. Just talk about that loss and how it's kind of driven you. Gary touched on this a few weeks ago in pregame for Columbus, but I'm interested to hear it from you.
Yeah, it was very bitter because in the end, we lost 2-0, but it was an extra time. After 90 minutes was 0-0, and we saw that Columbus won the MLS Cup, and they were a great team, but we could compete with them, and it was 0-0, very tight game. I had a good chance with my left foot. We knew that it was so close, and who knows how far we could come if we would beat Columbus.
So you just have one game left in the regular season coming up against New York. What's a goal for you just to kind of close out this regular season and get into the playoffs in good form?
We have a home game, and our goal at home is always winning, and it's very important to end the season with a good note, to show also to our fans a good home game, and also for us to going into the playoffs with a good feeling and with confidence.
Hany, you think this team's good enough to win MLS Cup this year? You think you guys are in the hunt for it?
We're on the second place. If I would say no, there would be something wrong. So I think we are definitely strong enough, and we just need to be focused, stay healthy, and focus on our things.
Hany, you currently lead MLS in combined goals and assists. I believe 15 goals, 12 assists. And you've been talked a lot about in the MVP conversation. What does that mean for you? What's kind of your take on that discussion, and what would it mean for you to win an award like that in your second year with Nashville?
It would be a great honor. I would lie if I say something else. But obviously, you can be the best player if your team is not winning. You have a bad season. So it's of course everyone says that, but it's in the end about the team, that we're successful. And then you can put your individual quality or your individual touch into the team. So first of all, I want to be successful, come as far as possible, and hopefully win the cup. And then, if I win the MVP, I will be very happy and thankful.
Hany, last question. We'll let you get out, man. 26 years old. What are your long-term career goals for soccer? International wise, going back to Europe, what do you want to kind of see your legacy be when you finish up your career as a soccer player?
That's a tough question. I changed my mind when I was a little bit younger, 19 years ago. I would give you probably a different answer, but I learned from myself that I will go step by step and finish this season as good as possible, and my goal is to stay my whole career as healthy as possible. That's my goal, and then I think I will have a very great career.
So, Hany, just a couple quick hitters here for you. Now that you've been in Nashville for a while, what are your favorite things to do when you're not in training or with the team?
Oh, playing PlayStation, to be honest.
What games are you playing?
I love to play FIFA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You got a favorite restaurant in Nashville?
Oh, we have many good restaurants, but yeah, if I have to advise one, I would probably go with Sunda. It's a sushi restaurant.
Who in the locker room do you think has the best taste in music, and who has the worst taste?
Oh, definitely Jalil Anibaba, the best taste. And the worst, I wouldn't say the worst, but not my type of music, probably Love It.
Love it. There you go. Any TV shows you're watching right now, Hany? Anything that's like in your regular rotation?
I just finished Squad Game. Was pretty good.
Yeah, I just finished that.
Very good.
The ending was great.
Yeah.
And last one for you here. Just 2 years in Nashville, what's been your favorite memory so far on the field for Nashville?
Oh, definitely my hat trick. That was something special.
Awesome. Hany Mukhtar has been the guest. Hany, we're so appreciative of your time today. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Take care. Good luck the rest of the way through the season.
Thank you. Thank you.
They call that going full shepherd on the podcast, is when I butcher one of my lines like that.
Never go full shepherd.